out of my head.
Hi, so today's episode of IMVU is going to be a little bit different from some of my previous ones. In case you were unaware, IMVU is basically the series where I make up a K-pop group, usually a girl group, and I give them a mini album and a music video of sorts, and we just kind of see where it goes. That's the basic gist of it. And for this video, I had found a bunch of groups that I had made previously a long time ago, honestly, and I asked you guys if you wanted shorter separate videos on different groups or if you wanted a longer video that was a bunch of groups, and you guys said you wanted a longer video. So we're going to be covering 3 today. Specifically, we're going to be covering Poised Turquoise. Yes, I find that very fun to say. I'm sorry. Diaphragm, which is spelled DXX, and Flickering. So we're going to start with Poised Turquoise because, like I said, it's fun to say. So Poised Turquoise is composed of Mian of i-dle. You can tell this is old because it still says G-i-dle in my notes, who is the main vocalist. Jennie of Blackpink, who is the main rapper and the lead vocalist. I was going to replace Jennie, but I didn't really know who with, so I just left her there. Seulgi of Red Velvet, who is a main dancer and a main vocalist. And Jinny, again, you can tell this is old, says Secret Number, formerly of Secret Number. She is the lead rapper, lead dancer, lead vocalist, and maknae. So for the concept, I put boggy, fantastical, but shrouded in mystery, candid. And the concept lore, a group of grad students go on a trip together despite not knowing each other too well. They don't have anyone else to go with, and it's spring break when they thought they would be having the time of their lives. Their social lives aren't going great, and one of them went through a breakup that's figurative wounds are still fresh. When they get to their vacation rental, they all have experiences where it seems the sea is literally calling out to them, and it's extremely overstimulating to the point they can't just do their own thing. They need each other. As a result, they start to get closer over time, and their fans are called Azurd. And I gave them a little bit of a story with like their company. So all of the girls were plucked from the acting department of the company except Jinny, who joined the group last. The people in charge thought she'd give the others a competitive instinct to really give their all and make the group. Seeing as she was so skilled in so many different areas, they were supposed to be competitive, but they actually bonded rather quickly. Jinny being an incredible maknae with humanism that made everyone more comfortable with each other. This was where the Poised name came in. They all had rambunctious sides, but they were also incredibly professional, a big plus as the company had not debuted a group in many years. In fact, none of their groups had gotten their first wins yet, and these girls were like a beacon of hope that they all might find success with new eyes and new attention. So for the mini album, I should preface that the albums in this video are going to be a little bit different from some of my more recent IMVU videos. In my more recent IMVU videos, I tend to create the songs for the album myself, but for these groups, since they're a little bit older, I had been doing my old style where I just composed the album of songs that actually exist. Except for the intro in this case, but that's an exception. So for this album, it's called Track of Blue, and the intro song is called Track of You. Track of Blue, Track of You. And then the rest of the album is composed of Aquamarine by Lee Chaeyeon, Ascendio by IVE, Draw by i-dle, and The Ugly Duckling by Yana. So for the music video, it's to Aquamarine. And basically, the 4 girls are on the beach eating their sandwiches that they brought in a basket as they watch the water. Seulgi eats the crust off Jinny's sandwich, teasing her about it as much as she can, not knowing the girl that well. Jennie is stretching out on the sand while Mian looks very compact, arms wrapped around her knees. Jinny is the first to go to the water, but she only reaches the edge of the tide, breathing deeply until Mian startles her, hugging her from behind, the two laughing despite solemnity in their eyes. Jennie starts shouting at a pelican that tried to steal some of their food, guys on the beach making fun of her, but she ignores them, rolling her eyes. Seulgi gets overstimulated by the call of the ocean and lays down, trying not to get sick. Everyone comes back to the beach blanket looking a little green, but Seulgi finally goes to the water, and just feeling it on her toes is like a high you can't process in the moment. At the rental, they practice holding their breath, timing how long they can go. There's a pool, and they take turns holding onto the ladder that's supposed to be for getting out so they can stay underwater as long as possible. Though Seulgi makes the executive decision for them to stop when she thinks Jinny isn't coming up for air for a reason other than stubbornness or drive. Mian goes out in the middle of the night while everyone else is sleeping and goes far enough into the water that there's nothing left beneath her but open ocean. When Seulgi wakes up, she realizes she's alone in the rental. The other three are on the beach, drenched from head to toe, not even shivering, just laughing. And Seulgi is slightly terrified, like she realized her friendly acquaintances were sea witches all along. They welcome her into their circle, and she comes closer to see they all have necklaces on, each with a gemstone pendant, and they have one for her too. Seulgi rips them off and throws them all out, each girl seeming confused about where they are, but feeling this intense pain in their chests. Mian decides it's time for them to go, but tiny bits of crystal still seemingly stained her skin, making her curious. Jinny and Jenny toe the edge of the water together, both having out-of-body experiences except when they brush shoulders. They speak to the water instead of each other, still practicing holding their breath when they're quiet. Seemingly the water murmurs something incomprehensible, and Jenny stumbles and falls, but the tide pulls her in and practically grabs Jinny too. This is seen from far away, though, to obscure exactly how it happened. And that's the Poised Turquoise music video. Next we have Diaphragm, again spelled DXX-Afram. And this group is composed of Minju from i-dle, who is a main vocalist, lead rapper, and Magne. She replaced someone who was cancelled. I don't think i-dle had debuted when I originally made this group. But that's okay. We have Ira, I guess formerly of Purple Kiss. Purple Kiss has disbanded since making this. She's the main dancer and sub-vocalist. And we have Minji, formerly of Secret Number. She now goes by Melanie, and you guys should check out her music because Risky Risky is a bop, and she is a lead vocalist. And Ruka is the final member, Ruka from Baby Monster. She is the main rapper and lead dancer. So this group's concept, there's a boarding school for the dead with secrets darker than its perception. The concept lore, the ghosts are in a boarding school in the middle of nowhere, part of the deal being participating in experiments they usually don't remember, though many get transient visions. And the fans are called beams, like support beams, and because diaphragm, support. And the company presents promotional material like school documents or posters. They give tours of new parts of campus with each comeback, and people assume the goal is to add new members as things keep growing bigger with intermittent videos showing glimpses of the members when they were alive and either when they died or when they first came onto campus. There are also teasers hinting at the experiments based on infamous experiments, for example, Harlow. I can talk about Harlow forever. And then the album is called Good Guess, and the songs are Same But Different by Lee Chaeyeon. There's a lot of Lee Chaeyeon in this video. We Got So Much by Le Seraphim, Rush by Twice, Memory by i-dle, and there's a video with them wandering the school set to Memory by i-dle. And then the final song is Love on Lock by Kepler. So, music video is too, Same But Different. Like I said, this is a lot of Lee Chaeyeon. So there's a radio transmission in the beginning of the video that says there isn't supposed to be a car on campus. And then the response to that transmission is there isn't supposed to be a campus. So it starts with Ira looking at her pruny hands on the front steps of a large building. They get interlocked with Minju's fingers as she tugs her along. Ira panicking until Minju gives her a smile over her shoulder. They reach a car, lights off, but there is a phone flashlight that reveals Minji, eyebrows furrowed at the sight of Ira, but hardly questioning Minju. Ira is looking at her hands, and Ruka shows her she has the same problem. Minji starts driving through the forest as best she can, certainly not helped by torrential downpour. Ruka is searching through a small backpack she brought, lighting a piece of homework on fire and letting it get destroyed by the rain after opening her window. Minju seems to want to sleep, but has to keep Minji awake, so they play ridiculous games, including lots of heads or tails, always getting heads. Deep in the forest, they take a break, Minji taking a nap as the others communicate via text rather than keeping her awake. Ruka texts, if your hands were just sweaty, they wouldn't prune up like that. There are flashing lights in the distance, and Minju wakes Minji up to drive, only to drive directly into a tree. They're fine being ghosts and finding ways to avoid real damage, but they're all in a bit of shock, so people in cloaks with the lights catch up, and the rain is so violent you would think it would hurt as they are taken out of the car. It's early morning on campus, and the four are in the principal's office, all seeming more tired than regretful. Ira is spinning in her chair until the headmistress comes in and scolds her. They put helmets on their heads, wires connecting all over their heads, and Ruka starts openly crying, gasping for air like they're drowning her. And then it cuts to Minju holding in her tears as she blows up the escape car, but just before she hits the button to blow up the car, Minji's hand falls on her shoulder, and that's where it ends. The last group is called Flickering, and it is composed of Suki from Billy, who is the main dancer and sub-vocalist, Ray from IVE, who is the main rapper and sub-vocalist, Ning from aespa, who is the main vocalist, and Jiwoo from NMIXX, who is the lead vocalist, lead rapper, lead dancer, and maknae. Their group name, like I said, is Flickering. Their fandom name is Matches. The concept is unnerving and strange, and the concept lore... I should preface this by saying that the music video is going to be animated. It's not going to be a video of the members. There's a haunted neighboring house, and people are constantly leaving. The main character's neighbor is possessed by one of the young demons in the house, but without the demon having full control, and she makes her look like the weirdo as their friendship blossoms until it simply can't. So this album is called Love Thy Neighbor, and it is composed of Stranger by Sunmi, Boom by NMIXX, Holy Moly by IVE, Go Hard by Twice, and I Am by Maka Maka. So the music video is for Stranger, and one animated character is brushing her hair, struggling to tie it with a chrome ribbon because their arm is broken, but they won't give up until their mom sets it aside, tying her hair into pigtails and covering a cowlick with a beanie. She gets on the school bus fashionably late, and everyone is concentrated in the back, a dark presence in the seat behind the bus driver. She immediately starts walking toward the back, but a hand grips her sleeve, and she's confused at first, her friend in the back with wide eyes like she's gonna die. She sits down but didn't think about it, staring at the other kid but without any expression at all, just not processing. The kid's eyes shift between colors but turn dark and earnest as they hold the girl's hand as firm but light as possible. The girl buckles her seatbelt, and the kid unbuckles it. She buckles it again, but unbuckles the kid's seatbelt, and they stare at each other until the girl puts headphones on. The kid keeps trailing after her at school, other kids reluctantly letting them infiltrate until the demon in them makes itself known, but only behind the girl's back. They are partners in everything, and the girl starts to let her guard down until she realizes the kid just moved in next door at the haunted house, and she tries to perform an exorcism on the bus, literally having gotten the steps on the internet, which she printed out and annotated. She starts to look like the weirdo as the demon considers retreating, but realizes they like the girl and want to teach her what they know about witchcraft since she's interested but doesn't have a clue about how to go about it just from that one article. Still, it's struggling to keep control of the actual kid who has parent-teacher meetings where the kid's consciousness fluctuates because the demon doesn't have full control of its abilities. Eventually, though, the kid moves away because of the house clearly being haunted, and the demon is left with its peers and no way to see the girl because her parents also know that the house is haunted, and that's the only place it can directly access now. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you are interested, I have my Etsy at the end of the video, and there you can see some of the K-pop stickers that I have put up. I'm going to be putting up more K-pop themed items, so hopefully that'll pique someone's interest, but you don't have to support me in that way. It's optional, obviously. Like I said, I hope everyone's doing well. It feels good to be back, and I hope that I can continue being back. So, thank you. Bye. I dreamed